All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get our next panel discussion started. And again, for the benefit of the audience, let me inform you all, we are hosting Track A on the theme Evolving Business Models Against the Backdrop of Disruptive Technologies, most importantly, driving customer experience strategies through technology. So that's going to be the panel discussion taking place over here. So first up, let me quickly invite the person who's going to be spearheading this session for all of us. We have with us Mr. Dhaivat, who's the Vice President, Service Assurance, Vodafone Idea Limited. So if I may please invite you, Dhaivat, to please come on stage. And that's right, let's welcome our session moderator first up with a huge round of applause. And joining him, if I may please invite Mr. Ashton Cruz, Director, Chief Administrative Officer and CISO, NatWest Markets PLC India. Well, up next, if I may also invite Mr. Ritesh Chaudhari, Head IT and Digital Business, India and Pakistan, and Head of Digital Innovation, EMEA in India, Henkel Group. Well, moving on, if I may also please invite Mr. Ahmed, Vice President and Head Digital Acquisition, Content and Social Media Marketing, HDFC Bank. Warm welcome to you, sir. Finally, Mr. Abhishek Sharma, Global Head, Business Management, IT and Digital with Syngenta Group. So can we have a huge round of applause for all of our speakers one more time. And on that note, I will request all our speakers to please take their seats and let me quickly hand over to Mr. Oza. Over to you, sir.
Okay, good afternoon everyone, and tough session after the lunch. But we'll make sure that we'll have some element of enrichment to you when we go out of the session. So officially, big hello to everyone. And here we are going to discuss more of an online mode and an offline mode, right? So it's a combination of how to be more online and offline mode. With all my panelists and colleagues, we welcome you all. So we will be discussing about customer experience, customer culture since morning, and how do we build a culture. It's not only a customer service division who is working on customer culture, and so on and so forth. And I love some of those case studies which have been presented. One of the case studies was from Mr. Manish on the opinions that how the demographic and dynamics are changing in the world where tier 3, tier 4 cities are more gearing up on about digital, and that only stress the technology in the back end. So what we are going to discuss about here is that how technology is helping and how technology is enabling the front end team to make sure that we have an enhanced customer experience. Right? So having said that, Mr. Janavia is there. He was talking about that we use technology, but make sure that what pain you are going to address through the technology. So, yes, Ajay, I think we'll try to address your point as well here. Okay, so here is my first question, and while we are talking about, there are news in terms of various industries who are working towards some augmented reality, virtual reality, right? Reading some of the news on 2G Hector coming up with a video or a voice-enabled show, right? So it is completely off human action. So what are the things behind all those stuff? Is it AI, how AI works? So my first question to Abhishek, he comes from a complete FMCG background. Abhishek, how does this AI strategies are getting implemented, and how does it help you from an FMCG point of view to empower or enhance the customer experience? Your thoughts on that?
Thanks, Dhaivat, on that. So I think if you look at the digital transformation or business transformation, which is happening across the organization, right? There is no clear-cut definition of what digital transformation really means. Right? If you ask 10 different experts on digital transformation, you have 10 different definitions. Right? So it all boils down to what technology you use, like how you are connecting with customers and consumers in terms of making sure that they have a journey which is exciting for them. Right? Now, when we look at the list of technologies of digital transformation, right? Now, the biggest aspect of that is that it's also a part of solution, but actually also consumers communicate, connect, and discover, right, has huge implications for the business across the organization. Now, when we talk about disruptive technologies, right, in terms of that, what value expectations that you're bringing it back to the customer, right, in terms of like I'm from the business, right, where AI plays a major role. We work with identifying products or seeds, looking at the plant growth, right, the soil, the weather conditions, right, in terms of how we can use it there to actually expedite the entire pairing process, right, we can get the good market strategy faster than what we are doing. Product and supply are the area where it can help, right, and that can apply to across the manufacturing industries. If you look at a simple example, if you look at any manufacturing facility, right, in terms of your overhead, and when you have a manufacturing unit which builds a SKU, whatever size it may be, right, there's always a problem of whether the quantity of the product is it over or under, right? If it's like 100 grams of SKU, it can be like 90 grams or 100 grams, right? And that's always the problem with this of the product industry. Now in that case, what happens is if you are supplying more, then the business loses money. If you are supplying less, then the consumer is not happy, right? And that's where I think people used to apply a lot of quality controls, right, in terms of making sure that if there is a like rule of 7, control charts and all that. But at the same time, it's all manual process, right, where somebody has to look at the data and say that, okay, now this process is out of control. Let's stop the unit and fix that and then restart the process. How IoT is helping there is that you implement IoT at your manufacturing location, at the unit itself. It will monitor real time how your products are being built, right, in terms of the product. And then if it goes out of control, you need to stop it, right, so that you don't waste time in fixing the problem. So there are technologies like IoT, AI plays a major role in terms of customer interactions. But again, I would say the relevance is the important factor we should consider always when we deploy any technology.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Abhishek. Do you want to share your thoughts in how IoT is helping you on the business which you are in? I heard it is crop management and seed and other stuff. So how IoT plays a role? You want to share some thoughts on that?
Like the logistics, right, in terms of how you need to ship your products, right, from one location to another location, right, in terms of that's what you use. IoT for the BNS, product and supply of energy use, right, then in terms of AI, it's all about looking at the data what we have, right. Now data and analytics also a major part, right, and it's all part of the same umbrella for transformation, right, and so you got one set which is data and business analytics, right. Now how we interpret data, right, and how do you measure around it, that's what your analytics will help, how you build platform around it. So, for example, you got a product, which is like a seed, right, how much time it takes to germinate it, right? How much time it takes to grow in a plant, how much time it takes to give the fruits, right? It all depends on the weather condition, the soil, the water retention ability, right? The AI can play a major in terms of looking at the data, the past trend, and give you an accurate scenario in terms of what you should do, and also helps the growers, right, in terms of making sure that the farmers, or the growers, we call them, have for the right product, right, for the right season, right, for them to be profitable. Right? Now, I'll say data analytics, again I would say, we'll have to make sure that when we use data analytics, it should be unbiased, right, it should not be biased. Technology also helps us remove biases from the data part, right. If you look at the human point of view, we always tend to be biased based on data what we see, to interpret based on what we see. Right? I'll give you an example from today morning. I'm sure most of you have seen the news about the recent FX forward about the Section 24 IPC report on hold, right? The article on reading newspaper says that since 2010, the X number of cases been registered in 124 IPC, right? And then the article goes on saying that 69% of that were registered since 2014 when a certain problem came out, which is a fact, it's based on data. What does not say is that between 2010 and 2022, we got 12 years, and the government which is in power since 2014 actually spent 67% of that time. So now if you relate it, it's not that bad enough. If you look at it in silos, we'll have a problem.
Thanks, Abhishek. So, let me pick up a word, we you mentioned that technology is a problem and technology is also a solution. Right? So, I think, let me go back to Ashton. Your views and how do you ensure that technology is best utilized from a scalability point of view and from security and other aspects?
So an interesting question. Before I answer that, I will submit here views, opinions expressed here are my personal views, may or may not be subscribed by the organization that I work for. Coming back to your question, David. So technology, again, and we've been hearing this right from the morning session. We initially spoke in the morning, the first time we spoke about customer centricity, customer loyalty, retentions. We spoke about advanced technology in terms of conversational CX or customer experience, the AI automation that Rahul from the ZX team spoke about. And then we also had the panel that was last discussed before lunch in terms of personalization and how to rightly use technology. And the reason for that is again and I'm speaking here with regards to the control role that I actually play within the organization. There's a need for technology, but there's also a need to be able to not intrude into the personal space of customer. Okay. So we need to be aware of the data confidentiality requirements, the wish of the customer, whether the customer needs or does not need to share that information, whether he is protected by privacy of the information he shares, and most importantly, what is the security that we have around the information that we collect, and whether we are collecting it and using it for the purpose for which we collect it. Most of these are now with regards to the new laws that come around PDR, the PDA Act, which is under legislation for the country, which is the Personal Data Act, or even laws in Europe and the US, which is around GDPR, etc. All of these cater to these requirements, but sometimes in our eagerness to assist the customer, eagerness to help the customer, we may not consider this. And therefore, technology has a dual role to play. Technology has a role to play in promoting service to the customer, the experience to the customer. Technology also has a role to play in safeguarding the interest of the customer to be able to ensure that we looking out for contingent risk, as I call it. The knock-on impact of data being used for a particular purpose, not having a cascade or interlocked interrelated systems.
I think that leads to a point that when data is being utilized, it is utilized in the right manner and the right spirit. And as we have seen since morning, that how relevant is data and how are we utilizing it, best utilizing it, that depends upon the end customer experience. So coming back to Zahid, I think from a contact center or maybe the front end team, how are empowering and the enablement is being there, and how do you ensure that the implementation is being effective enough in terms of empowering the customer, and that translates to the end user experience?
Thanks. So, since there is a great experience I'm offline after a long time. So see, for HDFC Bank, what we do is data, and for us we have completely compartmentalized the usage of data in the particular scenarios. Okay, starting with, let's say we have around 38 products to be offered to the customers, right? We have 50 million plus customer base, right? So we need to understand what is the right product, what is the right offer to every n equals to 1. To understand that, we use a lot of data, right? So if, like let's say, around 50 people sitting over here, each one of you have your own buying pattern, each one of you have your own propensity to buy which particular product you want to buy. Now, how can I personalize that exact amount based on your eligibility, the exact product that you need at this point of time? Is first is where you have to start using data. Okay. After that, I cannot, media monies can be wasted in one day. That's a notion today, right? So, understanding channel propensity and then understanding which channel you engage with me the most at what point of time is the second part where you use data significantly. So I understand which product, I understand what is the right offer, then I try to understand what is the right channel that you actually engage with me instead of just pumping in money across all these things. Right? So that's the third place where we use data. Fourth is via data and AI and tech. The fourth is, which is very important, banking is, it's online. In many cases, it's online and offline communication in most of the cases. Okay. Because people still want to talk to somebody before going the final leg. People still try to understand the nuances. Hope the bank is being transferred. Are there anything hidden? Right. So what we have done is we have empowered the entire backend, be the assistance team of telesales, be the call center, to use technology to the fullest, to an extent that, let's say, today I'm spending more than 10 seconds in a particular screen. How do I understand that? That means the average time spent on that particular screen is 3 seconds. This is a percentage more than that. That means this guy is either already exited or he wants to send help. How can I evoke a call at that very point of time? The call has been evoked. How does the telecaller know which screen he has kind of got stuck? So instead of he or she being explained the entire journey, the telecaller can just pick up from that particular point and convince him and go ahead with it. Third is, if the telecaller is convincing him, 90% is mobile. Okay, and if he is also on the mobile, or he or she is on the mobile, how can the telecaller, without data privacy getting breached, help him in a co-browsing pattern for the entire form being completed? So I think that's how we are using technology to empower every set of people. My data scientists get empowered so that they can get the right product, right offer for my customer. My marketeers get empowered so that they can serve an omni-channel campaign without wastage of media. My telecallers get empowered so that they exactly know the visibility as to which customer, at what point of time, and what is the background, and what is to be communicated. That's the entire journey that we do there and empower, and tech has empowered us.
Is there any roadmap where you look at the seamless experience through hybrid channel, right? I mean, something which is being browsed through online, and your customer is visiting near the branch. Is that data being available to an offline persona? And how does that journey you are trying to shape?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens is, let's say, I was talking about the whole propensity, right? How do I know that out of my so many customers? See, there are multiple types of loans, right? There is a personal loan. See, you can take a personal loan even for the down payment of a car. If it's 3-4 lakhs, a lot of people, they want to take a personal loan and settle it out. A lot of people, if he's a self-employed, he or she might just go and take a gold loan. Okay, there are multiple loans, right? How do I know which loan product is the best product for him or her at that point of time? Or let's say there are multiple cards that a person can get, multiple reward points. How do I know which is the best card for him or her so that he or she does not overuse it and does not get into a debt trap? Okay, so now when we do this, now let's say we have a 40 million digital footprint on a monthly basis. Okay, that's unique. Okay, so people are coming onto the website, coming onto my mobile banking, net banking. How do I transform propensity is good. That means for you might be propensity, I can understand that, okay, you are in the top 3 decile for this particular product. But how do I understand intent? That, okay, so for me as a banker, I know this is the best product, but what's your intent? That is where we kind of do a real-time monitoring of your visit, leaving behind digital footprint, which page, which section, what is the scroll time, how much time spent, which then gets fed back to our modeling, which that means, yes, the propensity for this product is very strong, and the intent at this point of time is also very strong. Okay, we try to convert unassisted digitally. We also try to give it to the branch banking team that yes, if they want to go and talk and he has been a relationship manager, he has a relationship manager, go and try and convert it. So that's how we are trying to make a seamless experience of digital assisted or unassisted. Bank should be
Interesting topic. Yeah. So I think let me switch over from banking to manufacturing and chemical viewpoint from Ritesh. How is AR and Industry 4.0 shaping it up, and how it is, so I mean, the entire IoT orchestration, how that is helping Industry 4.0 in your mind?
So, this Industry 4.0, it's a long journey. It's a good concept. It's initially when we started, in fact, some of my team members and some people from production operations, they came to me, we want to implement Industry 4.0. Now I challenged them, guys, what's the use case? What's the ROI? And they were completely blank, even I was blank. And I said, but what I liked was that out of this entire thing, the digital transformation, the culture was very important. That people from operations, people from the team, functions, they were thinking customer first. And they came to me saying, we want to implement it for the benefit of the customers. We have heard a lot of use cases. So that basic of having the customer first thing within the back-end functions is very important in any of this digital transformation journey. Now, when these guys came, we said, okay, let's go and start with the proof of concept. There's no clear blueprint, business blueprint. In those, there's nothing like return on investment. Perfect. We started at one of our plant at Chennai. We supplied to Toyota from that plant. And after we had implemented the supply to Toyota without any quality issues, consistent quality for 6-7 months continuously. And Toyota people were so happy that they called their top 50-60 vendors to visit our plant and see how we had gone ahead with implementing the Industry 4.0. And after that, we were able to be implemented at one of the largest adhesive plant in Kurkumbh. And since then, we have been consistently winning the Golden Peacock Award for quality for last 3 years. And ROI, business case, everything was immediately, it was self-explicit.
It was quite impactful.
So very impactful, and it actually reflects back into your costs. And so every batch which comes out is a golden batch. That is important, right? So wastages are reduced. That helps in improving our sustainability. So a lot of things. This is internal. Now there is something external also. So what we also do is we supply these chemicals to, say, automotive OEMs like again like Toyota or Suzuki or Mercedes. And there, what we also do is we just not supply the chemicals. We also manage the entire process line in their manufacturing operations and give end-to-end delivery. Now everything was manual. Now what we came out with the platform was we digitized everything. And after digitizing that, you have a lot of data. So now coming to this AI and ML. So with that machine learning and AI, we are able to now predict that if there is going to be an issue in quality, we will be able to predict that. And that helps in reducing the line stoppages, which is very costly affair. If you stop a automotive OEM line, even for half an hour, it can go into thousands of euros per minute.
So that's a digital experience which you, this is an innovation which you did internally and then giving that experience back to your B2B segment, right?
Yes.
It's great. I think from a B2B segment, when I look back about some of those use cases, how is the end customer? There are multiple segments. When you talk about B2B, we have heard about B2C, and there is a new term which is B2B2C. Right? While I engage with my customers, but customer also has an end customer to it. So when we started the digital journey, we started with a simple and front-end tool, which is all backed up by the technology, of course, whether it is CRM, whether it is a monitoring system, or any of those OSS stack applications which you are utilizing it for your end customer. So from a self-care, while customer have all the information on a click of a button, he can raise their incidents there and cover ticket and all so and so forth. So from a self-care to self-diagnosis to self-healing, that's an entire journey which we have been going through, and of course COVID disruption has definitely helped in terms of adaptation. Coming back to the user experience, right? I would like to go back to Ashton again. Ashton, how is the mobile app and the end user journey carved out, your experience on that?
So before we get into the actual query, we've been speaking a lot about data, alluded to the term data footprint. But it's interesting and something that we must all be aware of. Every action that we take now in the digital world creates a data footprint for ourselves. Okay, right from the time we get up in the morning, check our schedules for the day, check the news for the day, the weather forecast, anything that we do on the social media, it all creates a data footprint for us. This data footprint is growing exponentially. Starting with the 90s, it has been very small. Right now, it grows exponentially. 2.5 quintillion bytes of data per day is the estimate that is generated on a daily basis. This data, in turn, is available to companies, to organizations like us to be able to utilize. How we utilize it is the question. And that's what we need to be very careful about. Innovation is what we look at in terms of being able to collate all this data that is useful to us. Not really all data will be useful to us, just to be able to see which is the data that is useful to us. How do we define usefulness? It is basically in terms of the needs of a customer, what they like, what they dislike, and what they ideally wish for. So depending on the sector you are, for me, being in the services sector within financial services, we have certain needs that may be required for the customer. Financial, most primarily, and that's what we basically look for. So we need to look at the data that is available, and based on that, we basically come into get into the requirements of the customer. Again, various ways to be able to promote it. Traditional banking says you walk up to the branch, speak to the person on the other side, to the staff, and you get your work done. But now let's expand that, and why do we need the customer to come to us? Why can't we go to the customer? And that's where we define the mobile app that is available, promoted largely by the coming in of 4G and soon to come 5G. That has enabled and accelerated the entire digital transformation. Mobile app, as I said, is something that we could provide to the customer to help them manage their finances for themselves, so that they don't have to spend the time, effort, and money on it. Example being a couple of mobile apps that we have within the organization, again, which looks at the budgeting concept of money. Money in, money out, looks at what are the finances and what is the incomes that come in, what are the bills, day-to-day spendings of the customer, what are his insurance policies, utilities, etc. And we are able to create a cash flow for the customer in terms of what is coming in, what is coming out. At the same time, it also helps assess customers' spending habits, his financial goals, his lifestyle, etc. And are able to promote products, other services that may be non-financial in nature based on his likes and dislikes. So that's something that is being looked at. Again, as we expand it, it could extend from an individual into a household, into a group. The group could be a personal group which is basically family members. It could be a group which is basically limited within office at a professional level. You could have groups. It could link into saving habits, where you basically link based on your budgets and your cash flows, you link what is the excess income, what are the saving instruments that you could offer to basically be able to increase the ROI on his savings. Various other aspects that we could look at. Most of this is purely without having to ask the customer what he requires. It's purely based on the assessment of the digital footprint that the customer has created.
I think so. When you count the entire customer journey, maybe I go back to Zach. When you count customer journey and when you identify what exactly his requirement is, and then you start developing those things. I'm sure there are certain friction points within the entire journey. How do you deal with that, and how do you deal with those friction points and advance your digital experience?
Yeah, so I think there are tools today. Like first, obviously, when we implement a digital journey, I'll talk about the entire unassisted online digital end-to-end. There are enough tools today to give you a heat map analysis, to give you a neuroscience-led analysis that where are the eye movement. Okay, because whenever we have been doing FGDs before a launch, FGDs generally, so I'm just taking it from the pre-launch stage. Let's say we are launching a journey, we do a focus group discussion. In a focus group discussion, it's always questions, right? Now, human brains are irrational and the decisions that they take. So, if I ask him a question and the answer is coming in, what biases the answer carry, we will not know. Okay, that's why today neuroscience-led heat map is available, where I can understand the brain mapping, how are they feeling when they are going through the page. How are they feeling when they're going through the journey? Okay, that gives us great insight, first of all, to kind of do a lot of prefixes before even going for the launch, right? After the launch, we firmly believe in tests, okay, and personalization. Now, I'll tell you from the personalization angle part of it, let's say when I'm serving a creative to you, we obviously have multiple layers of personalization in terms of which corporate I'm serving to, which demog I'm serving to, right? It's which gender I'm serving to, okay. Eventually, we'll have it curved. Now, when, let's say, it's clicking on a particular creative, and it comes onto the landing page, we give a lot of weightage to the aspect of familiarity. You have clicked on a particular creative, the landing page should have elements of that. So that dynamic personalization of the landing page is very important to play on the part of familiarity. Now, on the landing page itself, there are so many small nuances which has really helped us grow ROI by at least 10x, if not more. Okay. I'll tell you, back finger problem. Okay, when today mobile number OTP is one of the key elements of completing any journey. Okay, when you will see there are different ways of putting it. Somebody will have boxes, somebody will have a straight line, right? That simple difference, boxes will lead your bounce off, your drop offs by 40%. Simple reason, when OTP comes to your SMS, you have to copy it and paste it. The box doesn't allow you to paste it. Simple behavioral analytics. Okay. Then there are tracking problems if you buy difficult time, right? Then let's say when we have to give you a loan so that we can nudge you for a higher amount, that you have seen sliders, right? When you do calculations. So how can I give you a slider which is pushing you, nudging you for a higher amount, but at the same time, you also figure out your EMI. How much is the EMI that will impact you per month? Because that's the end of the day what's going to impact us, right? I have to ensure you that the least of the EMI is being shown to you, right? So how each of these nudges, high, low, comes to you on the landing pages, and each of this particular improvement helps us to grow. Simple, like most of the call to actions is apply now. Most of them, right? We fail to realize when I ask you apply now, I'm actually asking for a commitment. It's like the boy going to a girl and asking, marry me now in the very first meeting, which is not simple, right? We have to go for a courtship. So that's why we have started moving from apply now to explore more, check your eligibility. That gives him a sense of comfort that, okay, I'm not having to commit anything, I'm there to explore more, I'm ready to go more, right? So, what we're doing is we first understand with tech, obviously, the drop-off journeys, the heat map, where are people facing problem, and then try to optimize each of these even smaller elements to improve on the journey, right? And yeah, that's easy.
Thanks. I think we've been hearing a lot in terms of the digital experience and the features and the heat map and so on and so forth. Does this entire digital experience and the spend which is there, does it really monetize in terms of customer experience? You can share, and then I'll go back to Abhishek again in terms of his views in how effectively monetize.
Yeah, monetize as in today, I think the name digital marketing is being carried on because of legacy, but actually the KRA has changed to digital growth marketer. We are hardcore revenue marketeers now being tasked to percentage of business contribution of the overall banking growth. And if you see the quarterly reports of take any of the banks, today you see a digital business that's been reported to stakeholders. Okay, so I think digital, with the usage of the tools, with the completion of the journey and continuous optimization, we are ensuring a stable business profitability from the scene, and it's no more support marketing function.
Thanks. What do you, Abhishek? I mean, different perspective. Like
I agree with that. The reason being, I think obviously you implement all these things for monetize, right? Gain business market share, right? And really right? That's what the goal is. Now, if you look at overall from a transformation standpoint, right? Like we had mentioned about persona, right? In terms of unique persona for each consumer, for each customer, right? Which is not possible, humanly impossible without the technologies of the right? It's not. I still remember the days like 10, 12 years ago, like technology is still evolving in terms of AI, ML and all that. And then there was a to define the customer, and that's where you start at the consumer space, right? With evolving in the technology, with the implementation and all that, now you can create unique persona of each customer, right? So you know your customer better. Like in a financial industry, you have KYCs, but it's mainly for regulatory purpose. Actually, it should be done mandatory for all the industries so you can know your customer better. And if you know your customer better, you will serve them well, right? So obviously, unique persona, their journey, right, the interaction point, what device they use, right? How are they being influenced, by whom they are being influenced, right? That's what the important part. And in turn, whom they influence and how they influence. If we all know this, I think business will obviously take a leap forward.
Okay, thanks Abhishek. So, I think I've almost had my questions back. Any thoughts? I see Ashton wants to share something on unpacking technologies.
Not really. So again, here for what Dhaivat and Abhishek said, ROI, what are we looking at in terms of monetary gains? So while ROI is the basic principle, again, any CFO in the bank will not give you the money if you cannot show him the returnable ROI on it. But my concept is very clear. A first-time customer is what we get into the organization. Retention of the customer is based on the experience. The product will get you the customer, the experience will help retain the customer. And the entire digital effort that we have taken, the entire experience that is only helping retain that customer by giving him an experience that he feels is unique and different from what is ideally getting elsewhere. Again, it also helps us to be able to cross-sell to the customer. He may have a single requirement that is to become your customer, but because of the experience, because of the various other products and the other offerings that you have, you can also cross-sell. So that indirectly translates into monetization and into favorable returns for the organization.
Thanks, Ashton. So just to summarize and mind to bit on that is, I think technology disruption is going to revolutionize the entire way in which things are being looked into and the way in which the entire retailers or enterprise segment is the futuristic retailers are looking at sensors, location-based services, and the context-aware personalization and other judgment. So I think what we try to give you insight about how technology is helping. Technology is definitely there. How best you are able to utilize it with the scale and with the relevance is something which is very important. So here is our thoughts, and we are open for any questions from the audience.
Hello. Okay. So we heard about the thoughts from the panelists, and we are talking about how technology is enabling the businesses and how we are enabling our members to customers to better experience. But what we observe these days is technology has also empowered the customers, and they reach out to us even more proactively, and more so when they reach out to us, they come with a problem rather than a solution or an appreciation. Now, social media in these days, which has empowered our customers, can be, it can be a boon or a pain. And for businesses and brands, it becomes even more challenging, because when a customer is coming to you with a complaint or a negativity on social media, you can't give a rebuttal, you can't, sort of give an answer which is convincing enough, especially on a social media platform. So how do brands engage, or how can they, better handle the situation so that rather than handling the queries, complaints and issues, you use it positively to create more positive word of mouth and make sure that it's a boon, not a bane.
So that's a very valid question. You have a kid, right? No? Okay. They are the ones who troll you the most. Okay. Whenever you have one. Okay. Now, if you can handle him, I think customers, not kids, but then they're like your own set of family members. Okay, and they have the rights to do it, right? So now what happens is we take it as a very positive mindset. And service industry in general, we banking, anyone, okay, they will be trolled. Not trolled, rather they will be kind of a lot of, for every one of the best creative posts that we put out on social media, the first thing that will come is, I have not got a credit card, you, okay, that's it, okay. So now, how do we handle it? First is, we need to have a very strong why. Okay, the first thing when leadership listens, the first sentence that we do is, we get to hear is, listen to your team, right? And the customer is a part of our team. So listen to them. How do I ensure that I am listening to them? They should know that we are listening to them, right? So that's the first post that we do, that yes, let's address it. We try to take it offline, we try to sort it out. You know what we have recognized is when somebody is actually sharing a concern with you, that's the best time or the best opportunity to turn him into a customer advocate. If you can help him solve the problem, if you can give him the benefit, okay, and then if you request him that he can write a testimonial on that, you have earned a customer for life. Okay, and that is what we focus on, and that's why we have strong ORM tools. We are in the phase of also merging the ORM with CRM, so that there is a customer one view and there are no multiple communications going to a customer. But I think an aggregated customer is more than welcome, and we try to sort it out and earn him back as the most valuable customer. That's our thing.
Hello. So if I can supplement to what Jai said, although it's not ideal, you wouldn't want bad press on social media against the bank or the organization that you are a part of. Always use this as an opportunity. Empathy with the customer first up, see what is the issue, try to resolve him, and turn him into your brand ambassador. Because there's nothing like turning a negative into a positive. It is basically multifold in terms of the effect that it has. So, and if a customer gets in from being a disgruntled customer to a satisfied customer, he's going to be promoting you even more than when he was as a disgruntled customer. I didn't get a good name, sorry.
My name is Samvay. I am from Mahindra Holidays. I am part of the customer experience team.
Okay, Samvay. I hope we'll be able to answer your question.
Thanks a lot. Any questions from the audience?
Am I audible? Yeah, that's fine. This is Namita. My question is, in spite of so much of technology advancement, especially from the financial services, we still see a lot of spamming, especially calls, emails. What are banks doing, or what is the solution to this? Because somewhere that irritates customers to the next level. You know.
Yes.
Unsolicited calls, messages, etc. are part of a traditional marketing strategy. It's basically a 100% push to all customers, which doesn't actually look into the actual requirements of the customer. That, in fact, we are trying to change now. A lot of the other organizations, we know as a bank that we don't really do it anymore. A lot of the other organizations are attempting to get there, and that's where the entire digital experience in terms of understanding, as I said before, the needs of the customer, his likes, his dislikes, what he wishes for helps. If we are able to create a unique digital print for the customer in terms of his preferences, treat each individual like an individual being as a unique being, and being able to then promote and provide him with insights of what and notifications of what he likes best. Having said that, we're still a long way to go. We may be able to talk for one organization, maybe 4 organizations on the dais here, but we cannot really speak for the industry in general. But I can understand that's a pain point. That is something that has been traditionally followed. That is when the organization was king, not the customer. So they could decide and whatever they would want to, they could send down to the customer. But that's changing soon.
Just to add, sorry.
There's a key term called separation, which a lot of us miss. Okay. So first is, have we realized the concern? We have realized. Okay. Have we accepted? We have accepted. Are we working towards it? We are working towards it very aggressively. Okay. Yes, there is a business benefit to it from a brand point of view. Okay. That's why this is happening, that everybody is talking. Okay. But what we realized is the keyword is separation. We have to suppress from if he has completed, if he has already shown interest from one particular channel, if he has already shown interest in one particular RO. How can we suppress it from the rest of the world and only the particular channel where he or she is so interested, that is the only channel that should go ahead with the journey. I think that is what we are working towards aggressively. And the suppression as a word, which people don't like, because that means that particular customer's view is not there in front of me. That's, I think that. But I think that liking towards the word suppression is very important from an organization point of view. That's where we actually need that.
Just to give a different perspective, I think from a, now we all know that data is available anywhere and everywhere, right? And these pain areas are bound to be there. However, there are regulations, guidelines also on UCC. And there are certain guidelines, however, it is not 100% foolproof. There are gray areas. But as Zahid mentioned, that once the data is there, there are scrubbing which happens based on the D&D and based on other feedback, or maybe some customers are abusive to the agents and they note down those calls. So those scrubbing is a mandatory requirement for any credit callers. Now, with all those things, regulations still need to work a little more in terms of how do we ensure that the callers are from a legitimate caller, right? Like 14 series or maybe a mobile number and so on and so forth. So there is still a work to be done. Some bit of it is already there as a part of guidelines. So we have to wait till the time how that is in full place.
Thank you.
4 calls from one bank in a day. I was about to add that. And that is on regular basis. Regular basis. One of the top 2 banks in the country.
Because GDP of the country.
You can take one last question before we wrap up this. Okay. Thank you everyone. I think it was nice to be in person and talking to a lot of interactive people in the audience. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. And we have a huge round of applause, a wonderful session there. I'm going to request our speakers to please remain on the stage. And I'm going to request Mr. Dhaivat to please present a token of gratitude to all of our panelists. I may request Mr. to please come on stage to present a token of gratitude to our session moderator. If I may request Mr. Bhatia to please come on stage and present a token of gratitude to Mr. Dhaivat. A very engaging session, considering the fact that we managed to gather a lot of insights from this side of the hall and a lot of interesting questions from that side of the hall. Thank you so much. And let's have you, all our panelists, please come together for a group photograph. Thank you once again to all of our speakers. Thank you very much.